Hi folks, Craig here, use he, him pronouns, and I'm joining you from Wurundjeri country today. Hope you're going well, as the weather's getting a little bit cooler. It's been a bit of rain about lately, affecting some of us getting into the office sometime here at VMAC. Thanks for tuning in to the CEO update. I wanted to talk to you about changes to the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. I am actually going to read the detail for this one because I'm not confident I can be on top of all of this from dot points. So the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, which many of you might know as the AAT, was previously responsible for a whole bunch of things, including hearing external NDIS appeals. It was abolished earlier this year, the tribunal, in favour of developing a new federal administrative review body. Now, as part of that process, the Attorney General's Department released an issues paper containing 67 questions seeking views on how the new review body should work, including purpose, structure, membership, powers, and procedures. So 67 questions, quite a lot. So what we did here at VMIAC, we prioritised 6 of those questions, most relevant to our members, and put forward a submission, which will be on our website shortly. This submission was developed in consultation with all VMIAC staff members and most notably the NDIS appeals team. VMIAC has also collaborated with the Disability Advocacy Network Australia, some of you might know as DANA, D-A-N-A, on a joint submission, which is still a work in progress and will become available for our members to read in due course. The reason that this is important is that VMAX NDIS appeals services often face challenges and barriers for people with psychosocial disability to access the AAT and receive positive outcomes for our consumers. It's important to VMAC that we're a voice in the development of the new administrative review body to ensure that people with psychosocial disability and experience of mental ill health are heard and present in the processes of developing the new body. So the stuff that was discussed was, well, in this process, we offered 7 key recommendations for the new body, and I'm going to give you all 7 of those. 1, a requirement that tribunal members of the new body must have demonstrated and relevant qualifications and or expertise to decide matters that relate to their area of expertise, including lived or living experience. I think, which all of you would know, we know is so important that people with lived or living experience play a role in determining what happens to people with lived or living experience, including in review processes. So point 2, lived and living experience to be integrated at every level in the new body, including designated lived experience roles and employment opportunities in senior positions and among members of the new body. Our 3rd recommendation, government agencies to be required to have permission from the new body to appear with legal representation in matters where applicants do not have legal representation of their own. This should only be available after all other alternative dispute resolution strategies have been exhausted. We're trying to level the playing field there around legal representation as well. These review processes can be very bureaucratic and hard to navigate. Recommendation 4, a new code of conduct be established for all representatives engaged with the new body to be regulated internally by the new body with appropriate complaints processes and enforcement mechanisms. Folks, we know very well that we need good complaints processes and enforcement, and that's what that recommendation is there. Recommendation 5, the new body have flexible, adaptable, consultative and empowering processes to ensure that they are accessible for everybody, including people with psychosocial disability and experiences of mental ill health. Make sure it's a good experience for people. Recommendation 6, new body should ensure every opportunity for participation in the external review process has been explored with applicants. Recommendation 7, the new body must not be granted the power to appoint a litigation guardian to someone due to their psychosocial disability. And where people do have a litigation guardian, rigorous safeguarding should be employed to ensure that people are not being exploited. So, in sum, what did VMIAC advocate for on behalf of our members? Through this submission, we have advocated for a new federal review body that is inclusive, accessible, fair, and just, and that lived and living experience voices are relevant in all of areas of the administrative review process. What result or outcome did we deliver, or were we hoping to deliver? It's a hope here that the feedback and recommendations that VMAC has delivered are heard and implemented in the creation of the new body, making administrative reviews more accessible and inclusive of people with psychosocial disability and experiences of mental ill health. So a big piece of work, and congratulations to the team members at VMIAC who did that work. Thank you to those of you who've shared your experiences with us as well. And we're hoping that that advocacy has great results. I wanted to talk to you about Canberra last week. I had the privilege and opportunity to go to Canberra on Wednesday and Thursday of last week. Wednesday was a meeting of the National Mental Health Consumer Alliance. So that's all the state and territory peaks where there is one. So that's all states and territories except the moment Northern Territory, and we're hoping to support the folk in Northern Territory to become a peak. So we had that alliance meeting on the Wednesday, and those of you who've been following these updates would know we were meeting about getting into a good position to tender for the National Consumer Peak. So Mark Butler on the 30th of January announced $7.5 million, as I've talked about previously, for a national carer and a national consumer peak. That was re-announced in the budget, and that's the tender, which as a consumer alliance of peaks, we are looking to put in for, and hopefully be successful, is what we're seeking to, as an alliance, become the national consumer peak. What we also did on that Wednesday, last week in Canberra, was put together a media release as a budget response. So you can see that on the front page of our website is the media release there about the federal budget. So there's detail in there about what we liked and what else we would like to see in the budget. On the Thursday, it was the Mental Health Australia forum. So VMIAC is a member of Mental Health Australia. And that forum discussed, had an update from Emma McBride, the Assistant Minister for Mental Health, and also some updates from the NDIS as well. And we were able to put forward advocacy points there as well. So that was Canberra last week. I'll just mention two consultations regarding the VMAX strategic plan. They've been ongoing in the last few weeks, and thank you to those of you who have come along to those and had a say in VMAX's new 4-year strategic plan. It was very thought-provoking to hear from members on this, and we really appreciate everyone's input on that. The next step is as a staff group, as a leadership group, we'll get together on the 23rd of May and synthesize all of that information that we've had and finalize the strategic plan, which will then be on our website as a public document for all of you to see. So thank you very much for those of you who've input into that. I wanted to talk about decision making and compulsory treatment under mental health laws. You will see on our website there's a survey on decision making and compulsory treatment, and that'll be available for the month of May for people to complete. It's 11 questions and hopefully won't take you too long. And it's for people who have a lived experience of being put on an assessment or a treatment order under the Mental Health Act 2014. So I know that's many of you who are members of VMIAC and who are watching. And so if you would like to shape compulsory treatment criteria, VMIAC, and that will lead you to the link to this survey. This is part of our consultations on the paper, which is going to go to the independent review panel about the criteria for compulsory treatment. That survey is open until Friday, May the 26th at 5 p.m. So please, if you have that experience, being on an assessment order or a treatment order under Mental Health Act 2014, have your say there. That'd be great. Thank you. I wanted to let you know in advance too, from Sunday, May the 28th to Wednesday, May the 31st, I'll be heading to Perth for the annual Psychiatry Congress. I'm a co-presenter on a paper which is about working together on mental health reform, which is about working together from a lived experience consumer perspective. So that'll be myself and Mary O'Hagan speaking, and then there'll be family carer supporter perspectives and also clinical perspectives. It'll be a reflection on working together in that way in the reform environment in Victoria. I'm going to feel a little bit out of place at a Psychiatry Congress, and I certainly had a good discussion with our committee of management before we decided that I would go to this. And I'm also on the Wednesday, the last day when I'm in Perth, I'm going to spend some time with ComWA, Consumers of Mental Health WA, who are a member of the National Mental Health Consumer Alliance. And they're the peak body for consumers in WA. So I will update you in a subsequent video about what it's like to hang out at a Psychiatry Congress. Certainly there are some pretty interesting things on the program, and I will have to make some good choices about what to attend there. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to this update. There was a fair bit there and lots of detail around the great piece of work that we feel that we've done on the submission to around the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. Also made reference to quite a few things on our website as well, so check it out. We're always adding new things to the website, and we really appreciate you viewing those and giving your feedback about that as well. So take care, and I look forward to speaking with you next time. Okay, bye for now.